picture the scene. You're lying in bed.
Right.
The lights are off.
Right.
It's entirely too late, and you're deep into that mindless social media scroll, you know?
The one we all swear we're going to stop doing.
Exactly. So you swipe past a few vacation photos, maybe, I don't know, a recipe video you are absolutely never going to cook.
Oh, definitely never.
And then the algorithm just serves it up. A hyper-produced, like slickly edited video of someone standing next to a pristine, heavily customized luxury car.
Yeah, or maybe it's a literal mansion on the Gold Coast.
Right. And the pitch is always identical. They say, this could be yours. Just click the link. $5.
Just $5. And I mean, the sheer volume of these campaigns is staggering.
It really is.
We are looking at an industry that has essentially colonized the digital advertising space overnight, just heavily targeting users across every major platform.
It feels completely inescapable. I mean, if you're like me, you probably sit there staring at the screen, highly skeptical, trying to make the math work in your head.
Because the production value is just so incredibly high.
Exactly. And the prizes are worth hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars. The advertising budget required to just carpet bomb our feeds 2047 must be astronomical.
Oh, it's massive.
You naturally wonder how these companies are affording all of this. And more importantly, like how they have a seemingly bottomless supply of people willing to hand over their cash.
Well, that intuition, the feeling that the math simply does not add up for the consumer, that is entirely correct.
Yeah.
But when you look at the mechanics of the operation from the company's side of the ledger, it is a brilliantly engineered, highly lucrative machine.
And so today's deep dive is dedicated to taking that machine apart piece by piece. We're going to peel back the heavily filtered veneer of what are known in Australia as trade promotion giveaways.
Right.
Based on a fascinating stack of investigative sources, our mission is to explore the massive legal loopholes making this possible, the hidden mathematical traps designed to drain wallets, and the incredibly powerful psychological manipulation keeping participants hooked.
Yeah, because we are really dissecting a perfect storm here of regulatory gray areas and human psychology.
Completely.
And to understand the scale of what is happening, we have to start with the foundational legal framework in Australia, because that framework literally dictates every single move these companies make.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the most glaring question is how they are operating what looks, walks, and quacks like a lottery outside of actual lottery regulations.
Right, because the sources point out a very stark reality of Australian gambling law.
Which is that running a for-profit raffle is completely illegal. You cannot simply buy a prize, sell tickets to win that prize, and pocket the leftover cash as profit. State gaming commissions are notoriously strict about this.
They are incredibly strict. The regulatory walls around gambling and lotteries in Australia are, they're incredibly high. They require independent audits, mandated odds, disclosures, strict consumer protection protocols. But these giveaway companies have found a way to just tunnel underneath that entire regulatory structure.
And they do it using a specific classification called a trade promotion, right?
Exactly, a trade promotion.
And this is where the terminology becomes the ultimate smokescreen. Because if you actually read the fine print on these websites, which, let's be real, almost nobody does before clicking buy.
No one reads them.
You realize you are not buying a raffle ticket. You are purchasing a membership to a rewards program.
And what's fascinating here is that simple change in vocabulary is the linchpin of the entire industry.
Just changing the word.
Just the word. Legally speaking, the company is not raffling off a brand new Mustang for profit. They are selling a service, the membership. And they are simply holding a promotional event where they happen to be giving a Mustang away to one of their valued members as a thank you.
It is an absolute absurdity of a business model when you strip away the marketing. I mean, imagine going to a nightclub that doesn't have a liquor license.
Yeah.
The bouncer stalks you at the door and says, "We can't legally sell you a drink. But if you buy this generic single-ply paper napkin from me for $50, I will gift you a free cocktail as a promotional reward for your napkin purchase."
That analogy perfectly isolates the mechanical workaround at play here. The core transaction is a complete fiction designed to facilitate the secondary restricted action.
Because nobody wants the napkin.
Yeah.
They just want the drink.
Oh.
And it's the exact same dynamic with these giveaway sites. People are not handing over their hard-earned cash because they desperately want a membership portal that offers like a 10% discount code for some obscure lifestyle brand or car detailing service they never heard of.
Right, nobody cares about the discounts.
They are signing up solely for the luxury prize being dangled in front of them.
Yeah.
The rewards program is just a ghost town.
It is. The membership portal functions purely as a legal shield. By framing the financial transaction as joining a club, these companies bypass established gambling regulations entirely. The industry has exploded because it basically operates in a vacuum of oversight. There is no independent gaming commission monitoring their random number generators.
So no one is checking the math.
No government auditor verifying the winner selection process, and no mandated transparency regarding the actual odds. It is basically unregulated commerce wearing the mask of an exclusive club.
So the membership label keeps them out of court. But a legal shield doesn't pay the bills. I mean, to understand how they afford a fleet of Lamborghinis, we have to look at the engine powering the whole operation.
Which brings us to their most lucrative weapon.
The subscription trap.
Exactly. The shift from a single, one-off purchase to a recurring subscription model is what transforms this from a questionable marketing tactic into a highly predatory financial ecosystem.
Yeah, the sources break this down meticulously. The real money isn't in someone seeing a Facebook ad and tossing $5 into the void once.
Because if someone buys a single entry and loses, the friction to go back, enter their credit card details again, and try another time is way too high.
Right. To eliminate that friction, these companies push heavily towards subscription tiers. And they're casting a massive net. We were talking about tiers ranging from $10 a month all the way up to VIP packages costing $500 a month.
They have engineered a price point for every conceivable income bracket.
They really have.
But a subscription requires retention. You have to give the user a compelling reason not to cancel their $50 monthly charge, you know?
Yeah, and they accomplish this by introducing a built-in loyalty mechanic.
Yes.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The math on this is just brutal to look at. To sweeten the deal, the platforms tell you that your entries will build up and multiply over time.
So the longer you maintain your active subscription, the more entries you accumulate for each subsequent giveaway.
Right. On the surface, it masquerades as a standard consumer reward system. You stay at a hotel chain long enough, you get a free night. You stay subscribed to the giveaway, your chances improve.
But the sources reveal how completely skewed this compounding math actually is.
Oh, it's insane.
Let's look at the numbers. Say an older member, someone who has been subscribed for a year, gets just one extra entry multiplier a month. By month 12, that entrenched subscriber is 12 times more likely to win than a brand new member who just clicked the ad today.
12 times.
And that is using the most conservative basic tier estimate.
It's like entering a marathon where the older runners get to start 20 miles ahead of the newcomers.
That's a great way to put it, because we must factor in the premium packages too. The top tier subscriptions yield hundreds of accumulated entries per month. The mathematics of compounding interest are basically being weaponized against the consumer.
And it creates a massive sunk cost fallacy. If I realize the odds are bad after 6 months, I don't just lose my monthly fee if I cancel. I lose my hundreds of accumulated entries.
You lose all that perceived equity.
It feels like I'm throwing away an investment. I'm trapped into staying.
The psychological hook is profound. But statistically, because of this compounding math, a new member entering the ecosystem at the lowest tier literally has a statistical probability of 0. Yes, 0. The early members, the ones who have been feeding hundreds of dollars into the machine for years, hold an insurmountable wall of tickets.
Which perfectly explains the lack of transparency. I mean, if they were legally required to print the odds on that flashy Instagram ad, if the fine print read, pay $5, but your odds are 1 in 300 million because Dave in Sydney has been compounding his VIP tier for 3 years.
Nobody would ever click the link.
Never.
They are selling the illusion of a level playing field. The massive advertising budgets are funded entirely by thousands of new people signing up for the lowest tiers, mistakenly believing they have a legitimate shot.
So they are essentially crowdsourcing the prize pool while having 0 mathematical probability of claiming it.
Precisely.
Okay, I hear the logic, but I have a major issue with this part of the narrative.
That's it.
We just established that the math guarantees new members are basically just donating their money to a rigged system. So why isn't there massive public backlash? I look at the comment sections on these posts, and there are no hordes of angry people feeling scammed. People are thrilled. They are tagging friends. They are actively defending the companies.
It's true.
Like buying a $30 t-shirt to support a brand makes sense to me. But happily handing over hundreds of dollars a month for a statistically impossible lottery, People cannot be that gullible. There has to be a missing piece here.
Well, there is a missing piece, and it requires stepping away from the mathematics and examining the psychology of modern digital marketing.
Oh.
This industry is inextricably tied to influencer culture. The primary engine driving participation isn't the allure of the car itself, it is the specific person handing over the keys.
Oh, interesting.
This is rooted in a phenomenon psychologists call the parasocial relationship.
I see that term thrown around constantly online, but like, how does it actually apply to someone draining their bank account for a giveaway?
Think about your daily interaction with a social media influencer. You wake up, you watch a video of them making their morning espresso, you learn their dog's name, you listen to them complain about traffic. Your brain slowly begins to process them not as a distant celebrity, but as a genuine, close friend.
Because you see them every day.
Exactly. You extend emotional energy and time toward them. But it is a completely asymmetrical relationship. To the influencer, you are simply a metric, a pixel on a screen. They have no idea who you are.
So the boundary that used to exist between a movie star and a fan is just gone. We feel an artificial intimacy because of the 247 access.
Precisely.
But I still struggle to bridge the gap between, I feel like I know this person, and I'm going to ignore terrible financial decisions for them.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the bridge is the concept of aspirational proximity.
Aspirational proximity.
Yes, the influencers fronting these campaigns are rarely just pointing at a car and reciting a script.
Yeah.
They're selling an entire lifestyle ecosystem.
Right, the whole vibe.
They feature young, charming faces, beautiful partners, hilarious friends, and exotic vacations. They project a reality that their audience desperately wishes to inhabit.
So the giveaway isn't just a transaction for a vehicle. It's a perceived ticket to obtain a literal piece of the influencer's life.
Yes. One of the industry leaders quoted in the investigative sources admitted this mechanism point blank. They stated on the record that the trade promotion model completely fails without an organic, loyal audience to monetize.
Wow. They just admitted it.
They did. The trust, the perceived intimacy, and the familiarity of the parasocial relationship act as a cognitive override.
A cognitive override.
When a perceived friend offers you an opportunity to join their exclusive club, your critical thinking centers shut down. You don't scrutinize the compounding mathematics or the fine print because you fundamentally trust the person presenting the offer.
That is genuinely insidious. It's the weaponization of our desire for connection. You are paying a monthly subscription fee to feel closer to someone who doesn't even know your name, and the minuscule chance of winning a house is just the rationalization you use to justify the expense to yourself.
It is a highly sophisticated manipulation of human social programming.
But let's play devil's advocate for a second and look at the companies that don't have a charismatic 20-something influencer on payroll.
Okay.
Not every giveaway platform has a built-in audience of millions. If you can't manufacture a parasocial relationship, how do you bypass the consumer's natural skepticism?
You pivot to a different, equally powerful psychological shield, the halo effect of charity.
Ah, right. The sources dive deep into this strategy, the whole "it's all for a good cause" routine.
Yes.
A company will make a one-off donation to a recognized charity, and in exchange, they purchase the right to splash that charity's logo across all their promotional materials.
And the internal logic of the consumer shifts instantly. They see the ad, they might be slightly wary of the membership structure, but then they spot the logo of a children's hospital or a wildlife rescue.
It changes everything.
The justification changes from "I am participating in a borderline lottery" to "even if the odds are terrible, my money is going to a noble cause."
It just completely silences the internal alarm bells.
Yeah.
But the sources outline a corporate structure that takes this charity shield to a much darker place. Some of the larger platforms don't even bother partnering with independent charities anymore. They just manufacture their own.
Right.
They legally establish separate subsidiary shell charities.
And the lack of regulatory oversight here is just glaring. Under the current legal frameworks for these specific structures, a shell charity is only required to direct a fraction of the incoming funds, often as little as 30%, to actual philanthropic effort.
30%, which
Yes.
begs the obvious question, where's the other 70% of the money going?
It is legally categorized and funneled into administrative and marketing expenses.
And the sources detail exactly what those expenses look like. They're taking the money consumers believe is helping the needy and using it to buy more luxury cars, charter yachts, and fund massive, highly produced stunts. They stage these elaborate spectacles designed specifically to go viral on social media and make the evening news, which in turn drives massive traffic back to the parent giveaway company.
It's a closed loop.
They are utilizing charity funds as a tax-advantaged marketing budget to inflate their own profit margins, all while keeping the charity as a separate legal entity so the public never connects the corporate dots.
The corporate structuring is designed entirely around misdirection and maintaining the ethical halo effect while maximizing capital extraction from the consumer.
It is layers upon layers of misdirection. But, okay, let's say you navigate all of that. You survive the compounding math, you ignore the shell charities, and against all statistical probability, you actually win the grand prize.
The dream scenario.
Right. The sources highlight a cautionary tale showing that even the winners can fall into a devastating trap.
Yes, the fine print surrounding the transfer of assets is perhaps the most shocking element of this entire industry.
There is a specific story in the sources about a woman who received the phone call everyone dreams of. She is ecstatic, believing her life is forever changed because she just won a top-of-the-line luxury SUV.
Right.
She takes delivery of her dream vehicle, likely celebrating online, only to discover weeks later that the giveaway company didn't actually own the car outright.
The vehicle was still heavily encumbered by a massive finance agreement.
A massive lease. The fine print she agreed to when buying her membership stated that the winner assumes all encumbrances tied to the asset.
It's unbelievable.
They didn't give her a free car. They transferred a lease. She inherited a massive debt. Instead of a life-changing prize, she was suddenly saddled with a financial liability she couldn't possibly afford, leading to severe financial distress.
And this raises an important question about consumer protection, or rather, the complete absence of consumer protection in this space.
Yeah.
These platforms are operating in an environment where they sell pure, unadulterated hope. But when you look past the glossy marketing, the charismatic influencers, and the charity logos, you find a legal landscape riddled with pitfalls.
It's a minefield.
They are legally permitted to offload their own financial liabilities onto the very consumers they claim to be rewarding with zero repercussions.
It is staggering that the regulatory bodies haven't shut this down. I mean, we have covered a massive amount of ground today, from legal fictions to psychological manipulation.
We really have.
So what does this all mean? What is the ultimate takeaway for the person listening to this right now?
The immediate reality is that the burden of protection falls entirely on the individual consumer. Legislative bodies and regulatory frameworks move incredibly slowly.
They do.
It could take years for the laws to catch up to the sophisticated loopholes these companies are currently exploiting. Until that happens, the industry will continue to operate exactly as it does today.
So the next time you are lying in bed doing that late night scroll and the algorithm serves you a polished ad promising $1 million lifestyle for the price of a cup of coffee, you have to look at the mechanics beneath the surface.
Right.
You are not buying a simple chance to win. You are entering a highly optimized ecosystem designed to exploit legal definitions, leverage your trust, and utilize compounding mathematics to ensure you remain a paying subscriber indefinitely. You have to be highly discerning about the reality of what you are actually funding.
The product they are selling is a mathematical impossibility disguised as a dream. And it leaves us with a critical, broader question to consider long after this deep dive ends.
What that?
We have explored how easily our innate human craving for connection can be hijacked by these manufactured parasocial relationships. We've seen how the illusion of intimacy can cause rational people to completely ignore terrible compounding math, the existence of shell charities, and the threat of hidden debt. If we are truly that vulnerable to the feeling of friendship projected through a screen, we must ask ourselves, what other areas of our daily financial lives are being quietly and continuously manipulated by the influencers we falsely consider to be our friends?
That is a thought that will definitely make you rethink your entire social media feed.
Yeah.
Suddenly, that $5 chance at a custom Mustang looks a lot less like a dream and a lot more like a very expensive paper napkin.